Brian Egan is the Senior Creative Services Producer at WLNE TV in Providence. He's a Boston New England Emmy Award recipient and an Associated Press recipient. Brian has worked side by side with our next inductee for the past 12 years and is honored to present him this evening.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the inductees this evening. It is a pleasure for me to be here, and I just want to say congratulations. I've worked with John over the last 12 years, and I can say that John Methia is the genuine article. He is a true professional. He's quick with a joke, but he is quick to the task at hand at the same time. John's an exemplary example of a family man, and I just want to say congratulations, John. John's been a member of the broadcasting community since 1979. In high school, John volunteered to operate a camera for his dad for a cable access program at Whaling City Cable in New Bedford. His camera work caught the eye of the management, and they offered him a part-time job. In 1981, John was hired by WTEV, which was a little station in New Bedford that later changed its call letters to WLNE, which is currently ABC6 in Providence, Rhode Island. John was hired as a cameraman and spent the next 30 years at WLNE, writing, directing, producing, and shooting award-winning television. He has earned 8 Emmys over his career. He is a Telly Award winner, and he has achieved national recognition with a BDA Gold Medallion. For many years, John led this station as its creative services director to his current position as the director of broadcast operations. I know John is most proud of directing a telecast when Mother Teresa came to New Bedford in the 90s, and also for his dedication to the Jerry Lewis Telethon. He has spent the better part of 15 years directing that telethon. He is a leader and a mentor to many. He, as I said, is a tireless professional. I've worked many nights over the years into the wee hours with John, putting the finishing touches on a show. He's always quick with a joke to lighten the mood, you know, at 1 a.m. when you're trying to get it just right and you've been over the same segment 5, 6 times, and you can't quite get at that hour, for some reason it eludes you to get the music and the audio to balance together. It's just, and you know, he's always there to lighten up the mood and put you back on pace. So I tip my cap to you, John, for those many evenings that we've spent together. Like I said, he's equally adept at maintaining focus until the job gets done. And I'd like to just applaud you to your steadfast dedication to the broadcasting industry. He's a true pioneer. He stays current with new technologies at all times. He was the first one to introduce me to something called Erasma. You know, you hold your phone over a logo, and all of a sudden it comes to life. You know, he's always staying current on these things, introducing them into the work environment, and which gets everybody to jump on board and get excited about new things, because we're so resistant to change in our business. You know, we want to do things the same way. We'd still be running around with 3/4-inch decks on around our waists and cameras if there weren't guys like John to push it forward. So I just want to say again, congratulations. Your passion for the industry and drive to move forward as technology changes makes you a true pioneer. Now, why don't we take a look at the tape and check out some of the highlights from John's rewarding career.
John Methia began his career in broadcasting some 34 years ago. In his first paid position, he was in charge of cable insertion for all of southeastern New England.
It was quite the position. John would spend his evenings in a tiny camping trailer located at a lonely outpost at the base of the Colony Communications antenna tower. As John, a 3/4-inch tape with a 30-second local commercial, what was advanced technology at that time, an A/B switch.
He flipped the switch and inserted a local commercial in a new network called the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network.
Only John Methia knows what it was like to handle cable commercial insertion back in 1979. John and the pizza delivery guy.
In 1981, John took an opportunity at WLNE, and let's just say he settled in, working his way up to his current position as the Director of Broadcast Operations. Ask John, and he will tell you that he is most fond of the work that he has done in his 20 years as producer and director of the Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon.
Abby lived with spinal muscular atrophy. It affects the part of the nervous system that controls voluntary muscle movement. But
The NBA would always do a great job of taking care of us, the staff, with food and drink as much as you want. And John's real hidden talent is being able to produce, direct, and eat, and talk all at the same time with random sandwiches and huge cookies and drinks down his throat. And it's unbelievable. You can understand something with so much food in their mouth. Oh, DeLuca, phone bank, camera position 2, with his mouth hanging out. How long was the park tram, please?
What makes John most proud is the Emmy Award that he was awarded for the coverage of Mother Teresa's visit to New Bedford. Mother Teresa was both awe-inspiring and inspirational. John produced and directed the 4-hour special. It was the first time that a live event was simulcast on all 3 network affiliates and brought Mother's message to thousands.
The biggest compliment I can pay him. If you have a live production and you want it done well, you want to make sure John Methia's involved.
John's involvement with the Bristol 4th of July parade has become tradition. He started as a camera operator in 1981, and today is director and co-executive producer.
I remember one year, the Bristol 4th of July parade. John was directing. That's our highest rated program of the year. Satellite signal goes dark seconds before we go live.
You know, we didn't know if the signal was ever going to return. I've worked with John for many, many years on big productions like this, and I have never seen him lose his cool.
One of John's many talents is the fact that he's really calm under pressure. He's a cool customer.
But this was about to be a huge embarrassment.
I think I remember John saying, if we don't get this dialed back in soon, I'm going to get up right now, drive myself home, sit on my deck and pour myself a cold one. And believe me, unlike John, his language was very colorful.
John had forgotten that his kids were on the headsets too. It was their first year working on the parade.
I'll tell you, the look on those faces. Of course, the satellite signal came back, and John went on to direct one of the highest rated parades we've had in history.
John has acted as creator and executive producer on regional and national series. One such project found him following Ernie Bach on a jet-setting tour to the far reaches of the globe.
The trip took us to Fiji, Australia, Japan. We flew in private jets. We stayed at Four Seasons hotels. The only expense we had was our own laundry. When I walked into our room in Sydney, there, blocking the view of the Opera House, was a pair of John's underwear drying on a lampshade. He was washing another pair on the bathroom sink. He was flipping out the end of the pizza. I said, John, what are you doing? He said, do you realize what they charge to wash a pair of underwear at this place?
And one thing is for sure, you'll always find John smiling and having some fun while doing what he loves the most. Making TV.
I say congratulations, John, on the Silver Circle Award. It's well deserved. Congratulations, my friend.
I didn't realize it was going to be a roast, but thanks, Brian, for putting that tape together. You know, I've learned a lot over these few decades that I've had in this business. I've learned what it's like to work side by side with some of the best in the business. A mentor of mine was Mr. Truman Taylor, who was He's a Gold Circle recipient and still doing well. Those were the days when we, real life Ron Burgundy's walked the halls of newsrooms. And I had quite an education as a 19-year-old in a newsroom back in 1979 and 81. I've learned what it feels like to be in the presence of a living saint when we did the coverage of a Mother Teresa visit. I can remember being in our production truck, and there were thousands outside of the church in New Bedford, Massachusetts, as we broadcast her message. And I like to tell the story about feeling an electricity come over the production truck as this 4.5-foot tall woman passed by. That was truly an honor to produce that production. And I know what it feels like to be in the presence of a screaming news director, or 2, or 3, or 4. Back in the days when they had a stogie going and would let you know how they feel by maybe a trash can coming flying out of an office or a chair going across the newsroom. I did my time in news and I learned the business, and I appreciate that time that I did in news. It was certainly an interesting time. I've learned how someone new to the business appreciates opportunity. What I'm able to do at my television station now, and in a market size that I'm in the Providence market, I'm able to give interns hands-on experience. And one of the best parts of my job is when I can hire an intern to a part-time production position and take an Emerson grad and say, this is your first job. It might be at $12 an hour, but they appreciate it as their first job, and they move on and they learn the business. So I feel like I'm able to be somewhat of a mentor and a teacher. I've learned what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. And I've seen New England journalists act with compassion. A few years ago, my nephew was killed in a tragic texting accident. You may remember the story. It was from New Bedford. His name was Andrew McCann. And I was called on to handle the media because I'm the TV guy. When you're in the TV business, you do a few things. You're called on to hook up the VCRs, and back in the day, get the 12s to stop flashing. And oftentimes when there's tragedy, or you need to deal with the media, you're called on. So I was called on. And I saw journalists really respect the family during that time. So I was proud to say that I was part of that team. We often hear about the door knock. I think in this instance, we handle ourselves well. And I was certainly proud of that. I continue to learn how lucky I am to have the world's most caring and understanding wife and family. My wife Cheryl, Jordan, Jared, and Justin, my sons. They were at every telephone when they were this big. Part of the reason we named Justin is because he is an election night baby. He was born at 7 o'clock on an election day. And I gave my wife a kiss around 4 o'clock that afternoon and went on to direct election night. So he said, why not Justin? He was born just in time for me to direct another election night at ABC6. And today I learned how it feels to be recognized by my peers. And that, I will tell you, feels pretty good. Thank you very much.